Welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are going to be reacting to this Reddit post that says staying relevant today as a PHP developer. This post um, this was posted 13 days ago, so it's not too old. Okay, it is probably relevant. um, I'll start off with one thing. PHP as a language is really good to make websites pretty quickly. So somebody comes to you, you're a freelancer, and you want to create a website for somebody, and you pick PHP. It's really easy to make websites. Like you can, for example, go with WordPress. You can install popular plugins, WooCommerce, and all that. There's plenty of plugins, and it just things just happen, and you can make websites pretty quickly. Okay, so because you can create websites pretty quickly, because there is so many developers learning PHP, because it's exciting and it's easier to make website compared to other languages, there is just way too many people in the market. Okay, that remember that there is way too many PHP developers in the market. So let's kind of read this post. Staying relevant today as a PHP developer. Okay, I have always been a PHP developer, PHP fan, and used it now for near 20 years. Okay, being PHP developer has always had a okay. You've been using PHP for 20 years. I think if you have been using PHP for 20 years, I don't know if it's true or not. The problem here is that why the hell have you been why have you been working with PHP for 20 years? Surely after 3 years, 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years, you would be like, okay, you know what? I know PHP. Let me just drink my coffee here. After a couple of years, I know enough of PHP. Maybe I should transition to a different language. Then I haven't completely read the whole post, but that's just my thought. After 5 years, maybe it's like, you know what, PHP is good. Let's diversify the skills a little bit. Let's learn different things and see where we go. And Yeah, I don't know why this person has. Okay, but let's carry on what they want to say. But in my opinion, having working with PHP for 20 years is a big no anyway. Um, that kind of just means you're not developing. You're not learning new skills and all that. There's plenty to learn. But let's see what this guy's saying. Being a PHP developer has always been a stigma. Yes, it has been a stigma, but not always. Not always. As of recent, not always. There used to be plenty of PHP developer jobs and all that stuff, and people were hiring PHP developers all the time. So it hasn't always been a stigma. Um, has always been a stigma. Oh, where did this thing go? Here. Has always been a stigma. Um, like somehow you are not a real developer and pretty much sneer from other developers like that. Well, I think it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to actually be a bad developer, right? So like you can say something like PHP developers are bad developers. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And then you actually go and have a discussion with somebody who is actually a PHP developer, builds websites in PHP, um, and you're like, oh wow, this guy's so damn skilled. This guy knows what the hell he's talking about. He can work with anything. He can build anything. And yeah, so there's a difference between what people tend to say versus what the reality is here. I just feel like this guy is really confused, and the confusion probably comes from the job market. Um, like somehow you aren't a real developer and pretty much sneer from other developers like Java or Python. Mm, Java or Python, yeah, it's interesting. Let's carry on. Don't have much to say, but yeah, there are different languages used for different things. If you want to just create a website, I don't know why the hell would you make that in Python, for example, because with PHP you have so much more available. Um, Maybe an API you can create in Python. Anyway, I use Python for um, I use Amazon serverless functions, so that's where I use Python. But let's see. There was never an issue for me, as there was always plenty of good paying jobs. I don't know actually. There were not plenty of good paying jobs in PHP. I disagree. So if you're comparing PHP to, for example, Java Python, the Java Python has always paid more. You can even just go on a job site right now. You can go indeed.co.uk, search for Python developer or Java dev. Compare that to PHP, you'll know what I'm saying here. The pay difference is crazy between Java, Python. Well, maybe Java Python might be similar, but then comparing it to PHP is a huge gap in pay. Anyways, so I didn't bother me too much. But now I'm out of a job in UK. Okay, yeah, UK market is not great at the moment, especially the tech market. UK, and there is a real lack of jobs in PHP. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I'll say something here. Interestingly, I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they seem to think there is enough PHP jobs, and they told me the reason they uh, knew that there is plenty of PHP jobs is because they use LinkedIn, and when they search for PHP developer, plenty of jobs show. The funny thing about that, I did the same thing and I did not see that many jobs. So what you gotta do probably is kind of filter, filter by jobs posted in last 2 weeks or something, and then try to figure out how many jobs that there actually are. So don't get misleaded by those numbers. There is very few PHP developer jobs. That's true. I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but that's a fact at the moment. Um, okay. Real lack of jobs in PHP, and majority they are hiring are offering a poor salary compared to other languages. Yeah, that's true. You've been doing PHP for 20 years, man. God's sake, you should have transitioned to something better. I don't know why you didn't, but maybe it's time to do it now. Not too late. PHP to Python transition is not too bad actually, and these languages complement each other as well. The people who companies who tend to hire for PHP developers also use Python here and there, maybe internal tool or something, command line tool, and I think something like that. So that's a good combination. Um, and majority that they are hiring offering a poor salary. Yeah, we've gone through that, which makes no sense, especially with likes of Node.js, which is just, yeah, that's true. Like I said in the beginning of this video, there is less people who can work with Node. It is just JavaScript, yes, that's true, but compared to PHP, not many people are that skilled who work with Node.js, or there's just not that many people in the market at the moment. Yeah, this is something that you gotta learn in web development, man. The job numbers go up and down, the hirings go up and down, people get fired and all that, but you gotta just stay on top of stuff. Like honestly, you have to stay on top of stuff and learn new technologies. And if you can't do that, you kind of, either you just don't want to, you're lazy, or you're just so busy with your actual job. Like I'm all just busy all the time with actual work at the company. And then it's actually dark here in UK by 3 4 p.m. now, and like it just feels like that the days gone by, day after day after day. And you realize like you haven't actually learned much of this year. Yes, you've been focusing on the job, you've been getting the stuff done on time, and then meeting deadlines and all that, but the actual learning stuff you haven't done much. And then just if the cycle continues, you could have something like this guy, 20 years working with PHP, hasn't picked on anything new. Anyways, um yeah, even now I build I'm at this line. Even now, I build microservices on Amazon Web Services using PHP and Bref, and it worked great, extremely fast and powerful. That is good. What's the demand for people who know Amazon Web Services? I think it's not bad. It's good to have. It's a skill good to have. Um, and if you're working in a bigger company, you're probably not gonna touch the servers. So probably not as much as you would if you work for a smaller company, which I think you do. This guy does. It works great and extremely powerful. Recruiters even hit me up with, "Oh, PHP, I can't get a look in. These PHP jobs that are hiring don't even respond to me, or I'm just an auto rejection. I don't know what to say there. That happens all the time. Maybe it's time to just kind of just stop doing shit in PHP and pick something else and see how the market reacts to you, you know. Or how about you just spend 3 months or 6 months learning Python, just Python, you know, 1 hour, 2 hours a day, build something in Python. Because surely in 20 years you must have built a lot of projects in PHP. How about you just do something similar in Python now? I don't think that's gonna harm anybody because you already know how to do it. Now it's just like learning the new syntax and all that. Now you all got AI as well. And if you're somebody who's in the same boat as this guy, learn a new language, man. Learn new language. Learn the popular languages. Learn computer science. Build new projects in a new language. And yeah, maybe just spend 6 months. See where it goes. Yeah, you're gonna end up wasting 6 months of your life, man. But maybe it'll pay off. I mean, I'm telling you these things because I am doing these things myself. So I'm just not trying to make up anything here. Um, yeah, recruiters don't seem to have too much interest. These PHP jobs that are hiring don't even respond to me, or I get another reaction. My previous salary was 120K, and now I'm getting turned down for jobs at 45. 120K in what? Where is this guy from? He said he's from UK. He's from UK. Something is not adding up here. Something does not sound right. He did say, but now I'm out of job in the UK. He said he's out of job in the UK. So he lives in the UK, or he was working as a remote guy. I'm not sure, but 120K salary is, I don't know what this person is complaining about. It just seems like a post complaining. And my previous salary was 120K. I'm guessing that was in pounds. As a PHP developer, you would never earn 120K in UK. Maybe there is that 0.0001% of the jobs that would pay you that, but not just for being a PHP developer. That's bollocks. I wouldn't believe that for a bit. My previous salary was 120K for being a PHP developer. That's crazy. Tell me where these jobs are. I'm getting turned down for jobs at 40, 50. Yeah, that's more reasonable for PHP developer in UK. What are your thoughts? Unfortunately, I think it's time to reinvent myself. Maybe move to Go, Rust. Why would you move to Go or Rust when there is no job market for those? Yeah, why would you move to those? They are good languages, I suppose, but you gotta go by the job market. Are people willing to pay? Um, yeah, I don't know. That 120K confuses me a little bit. Let's look at this post and then we'll wrap up this video. If you're familiar with patterns and principles apply, I like PHP more than Java, but I'd say Java positions are easier to pick as is. PHP, if you're familiar, not really. Java positions are not easier to pick compared to Python. If you're a PHP developer, a lot of times what ends up happening is PHP developers are not used to object-oriented programming, and Java is object-oriented programming, and it is not that easy to pick. If you're familiar with things like Symfony, Spring Doctrine, Mockery, I don't know why this guy is mentioning these three things. Anyway, looking for libraries that are similar in other languages and have popularity. For example, in Python you have SQL, Alchemy, ORM, and for doctrine migration. Sell yourself as a developer, whether caliber transcends specific language things like as if you're good with patterns, apply to. I don't know what this guy is saying. if you need to level up, but you can sell your existing. It's fine. No, no, and no. If you're a PHP developer, the best thing you can do is transition into JavaScript, pure JavaScript, and in backend languages in Node, or pick Python. That's the best thing you can do. And the only reason, I mean, it's not about passion or anything. I mean, if you're passionate about something else, yeah, go ahead and do that, man. But I'm talking from the perspective of employment and all that. Python, um, Node for the backend. Yeah, even both. Even both. Build few projects on your CV. Build few projects in your own time, and then put that in CV. See how the market reacts. Do a few interviews. Yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. But I think this guy is just bullshitting. Just need a little bit of attention, unfortunately. But yeah, job market is bad. If you're a PHP developer, you need to transition ASAP. Not even transition. At least you need to learn something else, anything else, even in good practices in engineering and anything. Just don't stay in one place. That's all I'll say. Um, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time, and yeah, subscribe to the channel if you wanna watch videos like this. I got plenty of videos on my channel, not just these sort of videos, but all sort of videos. Yeah, catch you guys next time.